Alright, here we go. Start things off, we're going to take the air filter cover off. Take the old air filter off, that thing is trash. It's fuel soaked because this carburetor's leaking through the intake, it's leaking through the exterior, it's leaking everywhere, so we're going to replace this carburetor. I take the recoil starter off just because it makes it easier to access everything, like the fuel lines and the throttle cable and everything. So yeah, it's 3 screws, you pop the recoil starter off easily. The intake, it's a couple nuts, take the intake off, or the air filter housing, remove that bad boy. It usually has like a little hose connected to it that connects to the tank vent, and make sure you reattach that. That little gasket I removed, if it's not broken, don't replace it. You can just reuse that. So we're going to start off, we took the throttle cable off, and now we're taking the fuel inlet line off, but I forgot to drain the gas. So drain the gas, always put fresh gas. If you replace your carburetor, if you do any service on your machine, replace flush the gas. All the debris will kind of fall out as well. So as you can see there, I dumped the gas out, and now we're moving on to the fuel lines. And so this is the return line. Pop that bad boy off. This is a Stihl tool. It works really well for fuel lines. It's 4 fuel lines. And there you go. Carburetor slides right off. New carburetors going on. We replace these often because rebuilding them is like 25, 30 bucks for a kit, and it's just not worth it because it's only like a $40, $50 carb. Clean off all the debris from the other carb, because when it leaks, everything has to stick to it, all the debris and everything. So go ahead and clean all that stuff off. And that's what I did there. Now we're going to slide the new carburetor on and connect everything back up. So it's basically rinse and repeat at this point. And so I start off with connecting the bottom one, the green one, which is the inlet, and then the outlet, the black one. Is the return line, and then we'll connect the throttle cable by sliding the anchor into place and just rotating it around, and as you can see, works perfect. And we'll clean off the gasket, intake gasket, make sure that's all good to go. It was. Slide the new intake housing on, and here's that little line that connects to the tank vent. Make sure you reattach that. So, basically any vapors that come out of the fuel tank through the tank vent, it's thrown back into the carburetor to be burned, rather than going into the atmosphere or, making a mess, where that tank vent is. So always reattach that. Slide the new housing, or slide the housing back on with that line, and a couple nuts. Throw it back on. Just want to point out, this is an uncut video, so this is literally it takes me 6 minutes to do this job, and pays about 6/10 of an hour. So that's pretty much it, So we're gonna get the fuel line out of the fuel tank and replace the fuel filter. This little anchor, the fuel cap anchor, it needs a new fuel cap, but I'm not replacing it, so it's not worth it. The fuel cap still does its job. I also replaced it with the correct fuel filter, so you can use either style, but this is the one Stihl calls for, so I use the short style for all the head trimmers. It's slightly weighted as well, so it allows it to go, when it's rotated, it allows it to pick up fuel still. So here's a little anchor. It doesn't lock in very tight, but it tightens, or it locks in a little bit. So went ahead and just put that on for the customer. But again, they're not going to they don't care about the screw cap, having a little anchor. It works just fine and does fuel cap things. So we didn't replace that. We service all our machines out with canned fuel. This is a 0 ethanol, 2-year shelf life. Canned fuel, because here in Texas we have a lot of ethanol, so the gas won't expire, which is the biggest problem with modern day equipment, is bad gas. It's not the equipment. So Anytime you replace a carburetor, always replace the air filter, replace the fuel filter, and replace the gas. You know, it's like putting a brand new engine in your car when using the oil that came out of the old engine. It just makes no sense. And here I am struggling with putting the recoil starter on. I literally never struggle with this, but for some reason, camera shy, I guess, I don't know, but once I record, then things start acting a little crazy. But yeah, eventually, you know, I get it on, but it kind of has to go into its grooves, so don't force it. I just kind of wiggle it until it literally drops into place, as you saw. Put the screws in, 3 screws. Bada bing, bada bing. Nothing to it. I love this little Milwaukee impact. This thing gets the job done. I put this thing through heck and back. So slide the cover back on. The little screw. Boom. Don't over tighten this because it will strip. So I always be careful with that housing, and that's pretty much it. Start it and run it. You're gonna hear me run it. It does need some adjusting, so I do end up adjusting the carburetor after and dialing it in, but this is how you can, you know, see her or hear her rip. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.